A cool little life hack, if you're the sort of person who worries what people think of you, is you can just decide what people think of you in your own mind and then act like that's true. And if that sounds crazy to you, that's what you've been doing this whole time. You've just been deciding that they think bad things about you. Just make them think good things, you fucking idiot.
I have come to the realization that we are so fundamentally obsessed with what we look like, with what our faces look like, with what our bodies look like, that we're forgetting to live. I personally know people who won't go out if they don't feel like they look good enough or they don't have the right outfit. And what a way to waste a beautiful life that we are not guaranteed the amount of days that we have. Literally, our days are numbered, all of us. Everybody watching this, you're gonna die. We all are. So your days are numbered, and choosing to not go out because of the way that you look, crazy behavior, because nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares. I can't even imagine putting off life for a certain goal weight, for a certain pant size to fit into, to have my body look a certain way in something. I am exposed to a million people on the internet. This is what my body looks like right now. And I'm showing it not because I love it, or because I'm praising it, or because I'm praising an unhealthy body type, just because it is my body. It is the body I have currently in this moment. And I can choose to hate it, and I can choose to sit here and think, oh, I need to do X, Y, Z. I need to eat a certain way. I need to lose a certain amount of pounds. I need to fit into a certain type of clothes. Or I can accept the body that I have currently in this moment in time. You don't have to love it. You have to accept it. And then learn to make changes for the right reasons.
I know. Oh my God, if I could just only turn back time.
I know.
All this money on surgery and I look like shit.
Yeah. It's so sad, guys. Honestly, we can't explain it to you. If you can just tell if there's any young girls watching this, really, really think hard before you go for surgery. Is it something you really, really, really need?
I ruined myself, yeah? I look back at my photo when I was in Mykonos, when me and you were in Mykonos, 4 years ago? I don't know when it was, yeah? I'm laying sunbathing on my chest. I'm laying down and Anna's taking pictures of me from behind. And I've got this beautiful perky bum, smooth, no cellulite, no scars. And I have actually destroyed myself to the point now I can't even walk around in a bikini without thinking everyone behind me is looking at these massive sticking out keloid scars. I can't even sunbathe on my chest because I've got these massive scars, dark black sticking out. I have actually destroyed myself. I've destroyed myself. I don't want anyone else to make this mistake.
When I was young, I was a woman obsessed. I wasn't even a woman, I was a girl. A girl obsessed with looking a certain way, losing a certain amount of weight, being the right kind of weight or size, wearing the right clothes, looking a certain way at events, looking the certain way at weddings. I would spend hours getting ready in the morning to look a certain way.
Over 50% of girls as young as 13 years old are worried about what their bodies look like. By the time that those girls reach 17 years old, over 70% of them will have body image issues. In one study, girls as young as 6 years old have even considered dieting with concerns of what their body looks like. And according to the National Institution of Health, one of the deadliest mental health disorders is, in fact, anorexia nervosa. I remember being 10 years old, wearing a bikini for the first time, and thinking, do I look skinny enough to wear this in front of all my friends? In 6th grade, I remember stuffing my bra because I was told that I was flat-chested, and throughout my entire middle school experience, boys continued to tell me that I didn't have a whole lot going on. 12 years old was the first time I considered getting a gym membership, specifically so that I could lose 5 pounds and get my crush's attention. Something that I read in a magazine. When I was 13, I considered doing a fasting program called isogenics because one of the other popular girls suggested it to me. At 14, I was diagnosed with valley fever, which caused me to have a suppressed appetite, but I was happy because I couldn't put any weight on. From ages 17 to 20, I suffered with an eating disorder that controlled my life and still has given me issues with my immune system ever since. Even into my early 20s, I've considered preventative Botox and possibly even lip filler because I feel like my natural features aren't enough. You would think with the rise of body dissatisfaction and eating disorders affecting younger and younger groups each year that we would be more concerned with how we should address this issue instead of how to lose 5 pounds before summer. And they'll lie to you and say it's about health. I know it's not about being healthy because I was applauded when I was literally unwell and skinny.
We have to just accept where you're at in this moment. Accept it with a non-judgment. That's what I've learned in my life, is that in almost every area of my life, if I accept where I'm at with non-judgment, it always gets better. Judgment and talking to yourself like you're some piece of shit, it's all self-fulfilling. The meaner I am to myself, the harder my life feels. And if you tell yourself you're a fat piece of shit, or you're unworthy, or you're not the right size to be able to go and do XYZ, you don't want to see a person from your high school because I'm not what I want to look like yet, do not postpone your life for some potential date in the future, because I can promise you right now, you may never reach that goal, and then you postponed your life based on something so superficially ridiculous that you may have missed out. It's a practice that, if practiced daily, can really benefit a lot of people's lives to get to the point where we can accept who we are fully without judgment and be okay with being. It just feels like with the rise of Ozempic, we've gotten to a point where we're back at a really unhealthy expectation of what people should look like. Because people are so quickly and easily losing weight with Ozempic, it seems as though the people that haven't lost weight are lazy, there's something wrong with them, they might judge themselves harshly. That's where I have beef with Ozempic. There is a caveat to that, and the caveat is that you have to be on it for life or you gain all the weight back.
Before Ozempic, there was Fen-Phen Redux, a combination of 2 weight loss drugs that acted basically as a and would prevent you from gaining weight via making you not very hungry. Other weight loss drugs on the market did so by inducing drowsiness, so you ate less because you were awake less. But Fen-Phen Redux had a dark secret. Because of what it was, it had the ability to induce heart attacks and did end up killing many young women. And 2, permanently impaired many women's ability to produce serotonin and left them with permanent depression. The longest clinical trial for Fen-Phen Redux was 12 months. The longest for Ozempic thus far has been 2 years. Just because beauty standards change like these seasons does not mean you should take drugs that you don't know the long-term effects of that can have really dangerous impacts on the rest of your life. You are pretty enough and skinny enough that you should still avoid being a victim to the pharmaceutical industry.
Ozempic, a weight loss drug that mimics the hormone GLP-1, has several potential drawbacks, including gastrointestinal issues. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, indigestion, bloating, and upper belly pain. These issues can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. Vision changes can cause blurred vision, severe stomach paralysis, diabetic hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, allergic reactions, dehydration. Obesity itself can also have significant side effects. There's a benefits risk calculator in there somewhere that each individual person can do for themselves. For myself personally, it's not worth it to me, but you have to make that decision for yourself. You know, of course, every person makes their own decisions when it comes to their health. We're letting our insecurities about our bodies, because we can no longer just accept who we are as people and carry on living our lives, because we have to hate ourselves. Otherwise, how does the machine make money? How does anybody make money? How does pharma keep benefiting off of people? If people love themselves and accept themselves for who they are, then how are we gonna make money off of them? Yes, Ozempic is intended to be a long-term or lifelong treatment. This is because stopping the medication often leads to weight regain. Ozempic is a type 2 diabetes drug that sometimes is prescribed off-label for weight loss. Sometimes or every time. Because I literally see clinics when I was driving through Seattle that say like, come get your semaglutide, like they'll do like, just walk in, get a couple injections, lose a couple lbs. It is important to note that long-term effects of Ozempic and similar medications are not yet known. Try if you can, and we can try. We can change our own minds if you put enough effort in. If every single day, instead of telling yourself that you're a fat piece of shit, instead of telling yourself that you need to lose weight, in this very moment, begin to, even if a 0.5% change in one day each week, accumulatively over time, you will learn to accept yourself. You will learn to like yourself. I feel like it's so annoying to hear somebody be like, just focus on being yourself. Just be yourself, you know? And like, just accept yourself for who you are. I have been one of the most insecure people that you've ever met. In my early 20s, dude, 20s are a brutal time. I would have never, you couldn't have caught me dead doing this on YouTube, like, because I was so painfully aware. I wasn't aware, actually. I was lacking awareness, but I thought everybody was looking at me. I thought everybody was caring about what I looked like. I thought everybody was looking at how skinny I was. And actually, during that time, it was just me. It was just me. When I was in middle school, I wouldn't even wear a bathing suit. What was I worried about? I wouldn't wear a bathing suit at the slip and slide or whatever. Where the freaking place goes, oh, slip and slide. Water park. I wouldn't wear a bathing suit because, oh, my friend had abs. You're 13 years old. You need not care. And if you are watching this and you are a young person and you're even looking at me right now and you're like, yeah, but you would look better if you were skinny. I understand why you think that, and I understand why it matters so much to you. And when I can tell you, nothing could matter less. What matters is when you're at the birthday party having fun and eating the pizza. What is the most attractive quality in literally every single person that you will ever meet in your life, and everybody agrees on this, is confidence. The least attractive quality that a human being could ever possess is insecurity and lack of confidence. That's why certain people just like have an air about them when they enter the room and you're like, they are hot, but they're physically really not that hot, but they're fucking hot. You know what I mean? Is it the confidence or is it the waist size? It's not the waist size, I'll tell you that right now. There's something hot about Jack Black, you know? There just is. It's his confidence, it's his aura, it's the way he carries himself. The least attractive thing any of us can be is lacking confidence in the person that we are. I know a lot of people who are deeply, deeply, deeply insecure that are like some of the most beautiful people that I ever could imagine. And I have never thought for one iota of a second about what they look like. At the end of the day, it's like I've always said, they're not gonna write on your tombstone, Jessica, 122 pounds, abs. If you like me, you don't like me because of the way I look. I just guarantee you that. It's just not real. And so I don't want you to get sucked into that, especially like the younger generation of kids now who see that everybody that they idolize online is impossibly thin. Jessica Simpson, the tabloids and the impossible beauty standards made Jessica Simpson feel like she was fat when she wore this outfit. That is a crime against humanity, a crime against nature, a crime against reality. They made Christina Aguilera feel like she was fat when she looked like this. And so what has happened to her over the last few years, she has absolutely succumbed to the absolute horrendous pressure of being in the public eye. To try as hard as you can, even if, like I said, it's half of a percentage each day, to try and accept what you look like. To look in the mirror and realize, oh goodness, this doesn't have anything to do with who I am as a person. If you want to be attractive, learn a little bit every single day to just accept who you are as a person. Just accept it. Even if it's hard, even if you feel like you're lying to yourself, you don't have to say words that are lies to yourself. Your brain isn't stupid. Your brain knows that you don't really love the way that you look right now. But it's a learned behavior, and we can unlearn behaviors. We can unlearn undesirable thought patterns that we have the same way that you could learn them. Just know, if you could create it, you can uncreate it. It just takes time. It's not overnight, and you may have some backslides, and that's okay. So tell yourself things that are true. Like, I am a really nice person. I help my friends and family. I care for people deeply, you know, and then maybe it'll extend a little bit. You know, actually, really, I'm kind of strong. I'm not talking about myself here. I'm weak as they get. I have accepted parts of myself that before I would have thought that are impossible. Before, if I had a stomach that looked the way that mine does right now, I wouldn't have been seen out. I had to wear jackets and scarves and sweaters because I wouldn't be seen. Never. You guys just don't understand. It doesn't matter. I grew a human being in here. I grew a brain and arms and a heart and legs and a circulatory system and skeletal system and nerves and eyeballs and retinas, and my body grew another human being who is so smart and funny and cool and amazing. Every good part of me, he got. I am the size that I am. I accept that I struggle with having an average amount of food. I accept that I fucking love pasta and I want to eat it all the time. And I accept that it's probably not that healthy for me to do all that often and that I should have a little bit more balance, but at this point in my life, this is where I'm at. These are all things that we can do to create a more loving sense of self. You don't have to love where you're at, but you can accept it. You can recognize that there are parts of yourself that like to overeat and there are parts of you that wish you could stop. My brain is not my enemy. My body is not my enemy. My brain is doing everything that it can to help me. It's doing everything that it can to serve me in the best way that it knows how, with the information that it's been given and the stimulus that it's been given and the trauma that it's been given. Our brains are not our enemy. And if you treat them like your enemy, often things become worse for you. So if you treat your brain and your body like an enemy and you're mean to it and you starve it and you berate it and you tell it it's garbage, it will torture you back unknowingly. Like, that is what anxiety is. That is what depression is. That is what fluctuations in our weight and our diet is that we are not accepting and loving the body that we have. We are torturing it. And all it's trying to do is help us to the best of its ability. Like, my body is not trying to be my enemy by holding on to weight. It's doing what it thinks it's supposed to do. It is holding on to weight because I'm eating a lot and it's like, oh, we need to store this, okay, for later. Little does it know, later's never gonna, it's not gonna be used. Anxiety is my brain's way of trying to protect me to a certain danger it thinks is there because of the danger that I have told it is there by repeatedly Googling, by repeatedly thinking about health concerns, by repeatedly doing things. We have to be kinder to ourselves, and the way that we do that is not by looking online at social media, which is the most fake ass shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And I can tell you that from a creator's perspective, that it's the most idealized version of literally everything. When you see me making apple butter in the kitchen, and you see, wow, she was able to grow her own apples, skin them, cut them up, and stand in the kitchen for 6 hours making apple butter. How was she able to do that? I'm barely able to like keep my head above water. My kid watched Peppa Pig the entire time. Something's gotta give. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you think that you're watching the reality of life. You're really not. You're watching what you think is happening, and it's just not reality. And so I hope you can be a little bit kinder to yourself, because all of us need more kindness from not just ourselves, but each other. But we can start with ourselves. We can start by not berating the literal one thing we have. The one thing we have is ourselves. I'm not saying weight loss is bad. I'm saying do it for the right reasons. And the way that a lot of people do it in today's society is not for the right reason. It's just shape, and it matters not. Nobody cares.
I'm not opposed to the idea of Ozempic. I'm not opposed to weight loss. I think it's great if that's what you want to do. I am opposed to the idea that the more we go throughout the world, skinny is praised and fat is vilified. And if you want to do Ozempic, if you want to lose weight, I don't care. Ultimately, it doesn't make a difference. You don't have to always be constantly trying to change. You don't always have to be constantly trying to like be better or one up or lose weight so you can, or get filler so your lips are bigger, and then or get Botox so your face doesn't move. It is okay to just be okay with who you are. You see what I'm saying? That's really the whole point. And I want to just make that clear, because I feel like this video could come off like I'm vilifying those things. Ultimately, I do not care. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's fine. What I do worry about though is that you might be doing it and hurting yourself, not just because of the way that Ozempic works and the fact that you need to continue taking it forever to maintain that weight loss, and the fact that you could have potential side effects. You may not. The diet industry, the constantly tell you that you're ugly industry, the constantly making you feel like you need Botox and baby Botox industry, the industry of filler, all of these things aren't good for us. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm saying it might hurt you, I don't necessarily mean just the side effects. I just mean mentally. There could be something there that you're doing it because you're trying to get to this point. Usually when those are the cases, there is no end that will be satisfying enough. And there may be. You may be the type of person that takes semaglutide and feels like it absolutely changed your life for the better. It's fine. I just want people to know that it is a medication. And I think when we get to the point where we are starting to all consider being on a lifelong medication so that we are a certain size, it gets a little concerning.
Okay, well, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video. Bye.